Welcome to this week's new book releases, our first one for the weeks of October, mostly. Okay, I know it's September today, but these books come out in October. I'm Morgan. If this is your first time here, we will have timestamps per genre we talk about, and YA actually seems to be the one that made the big comeback to have several this week. We will also mispronounce names. Yes, we will. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll start this week off with a horror, Coup de Grace. I don't know if I put the emphasis on the right letter. It's got a thing. You'll see it maybe on the cover. I don't know. The cover has an interesting design. It might not really show the words off much. By Sophia Ajaram. Vicken has a plan. Throw himself into the St. Lawrence River in Montreal and end it all for good, believing it to be the only way out for him after a lifetime of depression and pain. But stepping off the subway, he finds himself in an endless looping station. Determined to find a way out again, he starts to explore the rooms and corridors ahead of him. But no matter how many claustrophobic hallways or vast cathedral-esque rooms he passes through, the exit is nowhere in sight. Maybe I should have added a content warning before reading that. I mean, it's a horror, so it might not, but maybe it's, this situation he's trying to survive, so he wants to survive, right? We'll see the hopeful ending in it. Hello, buddy. Don't step on the keyboard, please. He is fascinated with the mouse lately. Say bye-bye to the people. I don't know for sure that he's going to stay on the ground, but him and Sunshine are playing. We'll move on to thrillers. The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. She's looking for the perfect man. He's looking for the perfect victim. Sydney Shaw, like every single woman in New York, has a terrible luck with dating. She's seen it all. Men who lie in their dating profile, men who stick her with the dinner bill, and worst of all, men who can't shut up about their mothers. I don't know how that's the worst. But finally, she hits the jackpot. Then the brutal murder of a young woman, the latest in a string of deaths across the coast, confounds police. The primary suspect, a mystery man who dates his victims before he kills them. Moving on to Society of Lies by Lauren Ling Brown. How far would you go to belong? Maya has returned to Princeton for her college reunion. It's been a decade since she graduated, and she's looking forward to seeing old faces and reminiscing about her time there. This visit is special because Maya will also be attending the graduation of her little sister, Naomi. But what should have been a dream weekend becomes Maya's worst nightmare when she receives the news that Naomi is dead. As Maya pieces together what happened in the months leading up to her sister's death, she begins to realize how much Naomi was hiding from her. Our final one has a hint of the paranormal and fantasy with it. The House at Watch Hill by Karen Marie Monning. Zoe Gray is reeling from the sudden death of her mother when she receives a surprising call from an attorney in Divinity, Louisiana, with the news she has been left an inheritance by a distant relative, the terms of which he will only discuss in person. Destitute and alone, and with nothing left to lose, Zoe heads to Divinity and discovers she is the sole beneficiary of a huge fortune and a monstrosity of a house that sits ominously at the peak of Watch Hill. Her new home is full of countless secrets and mystifying riddles with doors that go nowhere and others that are impossible to open, and a turret into which there is no visible means of egress. And the townspeople are odd. Our mystery this week is A Grim Reaper's Guide to Catching a Killer by Maxi Dara. It's not like it used to be. Modern-day Grim Reapers wear business casual, not black cloaks, and they don't carry scythes. They work for SCYTHE, Scythe, secure collection, yielding, and transportation of human essences, where the Department of Natural Causes is the least exciting gig. And that's how Kathy Valance likes it, boring and predictable. She has enough stress in her personal life. She's mid-divorce, pregnant, and terrified that she doesn't have what it takes to be a good mom. Then she goes to pick up a new client and finds his soul missing. When she finally tracks down Connor Ortiz, he angrily insists he was murdered and refuses to move on until Kathy finds out why and by whom. We move into fantasy now, with our first book also having a hint of mystery, because that's what it is. It's The Undead Complex by Courtney Smythe. This is the next one in the Undetectables series. A witty, witchy fantasy murder mystery packed with ancient magic and fiendish puzzles. Mallory, Diana, Cornelia, and Theodore are hired to solve a murder on a TV shoot by the victim herself. Next up, we have more of a historical fantasy. This is The Crescent Moon Tea Room by Stacy Savinsky. Ever since the untimely death of their parents, Anne, Beatrix, and Violet Quigley have made a business of threading together the stories that rest in the swirls of ginger, cloves, and cardamom that lie at the bottom of their customers' cups. That is, until the Council of Witches comes calling with news that the city diviner has lost her powers. and the sisters suddenly find themselves being pulled in different directions. With dwindling time to rewrite their future and help 3 other witches challenge their own destinies, the Quigleys set out to bargain with fate, but in focusing so closely on saving each other will they lose sight of themselves. Another historical/retelling is A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Liang. I looked up how to say the main character's name this time. I still don't feel confident though. Her beauty hides a deadly purpose. Zesha's beauty is seen as a blessing to the villagers of Ye, who convinced that the best fate for a girl is to marry well and support her family. When Zesha draws the attention of the famous young military advisor Fan Li, he presents her with a rare opportunity: use her beauty as a weapon, one that could topple the rival neighboring kingdom of Wu, improve the lives of her people, and avenge her sister's murder. All she has to do is infiltrate the enemy palace as a spy, seduce their immortal king, and weaken them from within. But we move into Romantasy with Lore Olympus Volume 7 by Rachel Smythe. Politics of Olympus are finicky, and as the gods bandy for favor, power, and occasionally freedom, the romance of Hades and Persephone steams on, even with the divides ever widening. This is, of course, the bind-up of several volumes of the webtoon. We move on into sci-fi with Live Suit by James S.A. Corey. This is in the Captives War series, their ongoing series, and I do wonder if chronologically it takes place before Mercy of the Gods. Just based off some of the things. Humanity's war is eternal, spread across the galaxy and the ages. Humanity's best hope to end the endless slaughter is the Live Suit forces. Whoopsie. Soldiers meld their bodies to the bleeding edge of technology, becoming something more than human for the duration of a war that might never end. That is a novella. Did I say that's a novella? I don't know. On to YA fantasies, as I think they all are. The Fate of Magic by Sarah Rosh and Beth Rivas. This is the conclusion to the Witch and Hunter duology that started with Night of the Witch. Shadows loom, truths are revealed. As dangers and new and old arise, Fritzy and Otto must stand together against everything that threatens magic. Even the biggest threat might be the very bond they share. This, as the duology's name is Fritzy is a witch who are being hunted in this historically time period. It takes place a lot around the Black Forest and Germany at that point. Is it renamed? Crap. I don't remember. And Otto is a Hexenjäger or witch hunter at this point in time that works for the church, but he does not quite believe in the church and their mission and things. How they met. Oh my gosh, that was talk about bad first impressions. Yeah, and mistakes made. We move on though to An Inheritance of Scars by Crystal Sietz. Within Tavidia Forest, bloodthirsty monsters known as Drogar lurk behind every tree, and secrets run through the soil like twisted roots. When her grandmother vanishes into the forest, Astrid won't let Crohn's disease get in her way of finding her. But in searching for her lost loved one, Astrid soon uncovers an even greater mystery, a conflict that's haunted her village and family for generations, an ancient blood oath her ancestor made to protect them, and a deadly Drogar imprisoned for centuries who Astrid accidentally awakens. Next up, we have The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle. In Phantom, a kingdom of cobbled streets, flickering lamplight, beautiful buildings, and secret catacombs, shade magic is a scarce and deadly commodity controlled by 2 enemy guilds, the Cloaks and the Daggers, the Thieves and the Assassins. On the night of her mother's murder, 18-year-old Seraphine runs for her life. Seeking sanctuary with the Cloaks, Sierra's heart is set on revenge. But are her secret abilities a match for the dark-haired boy whose quicksilver eyes follow her around the city? Nothing can prepare Sierra for the moment she finally comes face to face with Ransom, heir to the Order of Daggers. Then a urban horror-tinged paranormal fantasy, The Dark Becomes Her by Judy Lin. Ruby Chin has always played the part of dutiful eldest daughter, excelling in school, excelling in piano lessons, excelling at keeping her youngest sister Tina focused on extracurriculars meant to impress college admissions officers. But when a ghost from the spirit world attacks Ruby in the middle of Vancouver's Chinatown neighborhood, her life is plunged into a darkness that no amount of duty can free her from. Overnight, Ruby's sister seems to change. There are strange noises coming from her bedroom at all hours, and the once sweet, funny Tina has been replaced by something dark and unnatural. We end the week with Air by Saba Tahir. In this one, you are returning into the world of Ember and the Ashes only 20 years into the future. You're following an orphan and outcast, a prince, and a killer who will bring the empire to its knees, as the lives of 3 young people are grappling with power, treachery, love, and devastating consequences of unchecked greed, on a journey that may cost them their lives and their hearts, literally. Those are all the ones I have for you on this week's list. If you know of any others, though, coming out, feel free to leave them in the comments down below for all of us to check out. Maybe, though, you found one on this list that you want to pick up and add to your TBR pile. If you enjoyed this video, maybe you'll subscribe. I hope you're finding something awesome to read today, and I'll see you in the next one.